looking for. Come on!
Come on! Go!
Find them, bring me the ring!
Uncharted is most often described as the video game industry's equivalent of a popcorn and summer blockbuster film. But I can't tell you the last time any film had as much to offer to so many people as Uncharted 3. Chances are that even if you don't know a PlayStation 3 from a Game Boy, you can still appreciate tales of high adventure with lovable characters and adrenaline-pumping action presented through stunning cinematography. And chances are that if you are among the most elite and hardcore of gamers, Uncharted 3's technical accomplishments and tightly designed gameplay will impress. Hell, even the game's multiplayer will turn some heads this fall. Let me put it this way. If you're a human being and you like things, you should probably check out Uncharted 3. Whenever I describe Uncharted to someone unfamiliar with the franchise, I usually say it's basically a modern-day Indiana Jones, and Uncharted 3 reinforces that position. Nathan Drake and crew once again find themselves following the trail of Sir Francis Drake. The details of 5 months of the legendary explorer's life that he spent on a mission for John Dee, Queen Elizabeth I's closest consultant, are almost completely unaccounted for. What happened during that time is a mystery that T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, spent his life as an archaeologist investigating before his suspicious and untimely death. The journey to continue to uncover his work leads Drake and crew in search of Ubar, the Atlantis of the Sand, an abandoned city of immeasurable wealth hidden somewhere in the Rub' al Khali Desert. But as you'd probably expect, the real appeal of Uncharted 3 comes less from its pseudo-historical fiction and more from the endearing cast of characters that has kept the franchise in the hearts and minds of its players. These games have always been a character-driven experience for me, and no one really embodies everything awesome about Uncharted like Nathan Drake. For better or worse, the quick-witted, reckless adventurer hogs the spotlight of Uncharted 3, even more so than in previous games. Through the unfolding plot and the characters around him, it is slowly revealed that Drake is much more complex than the previous games in the series have let on. It's nice that those of us that have invested in his adventures see some payoff with Drake in this one. All this time spent on Drake has some adverse effects, however. It's great to see Sully, Elena, and Chloe return, but their appearances are disappointingly one-dimensional. A quick pop-in to say, hey, remember us from the last game? Here we are again. It's especially a bummer considering how great and well-established these characters are, and unfortunate that their inclusion feels a bit more like an afterthought. If you were expecting Uncharted 3 to have an end-of-the-trilogy vibe to it, then you might be disappointed. The game feels very much like another story in the continuing adventures of Nathan Drake and pals. Some questions are answered and some questions emerge that you didn't even consider. Some interesting backstory is hinted at but never fully explained. It might be unsatisfying for some, but all this probably means we can expect an Uncharted 4, and that's totally okay with me. If one aspect has come to define the Uncharted series, it's the over-the-top action sequences. Uncharted 3 not only one-ups the other games in the franchise, but also continuously takes its own sequences a step further. Throughout the campaign, you platform through burning buildings, shoot dudes while on a capsizing freighter, and dangle outside of a crashing cargo plane. It's been a long time since I've played a game chock full of so many memorable moments as Uncharted 3 delivers. But Uncharted 3 never falls into the trap of being a one-note experience. All of these high-octane events are offset almost jarringly by touching, tranquil sequences. Some of the game's more muted moments, which are surely inspired by the success Naughty Dog found with the infamous Village segment in Uncharted 2, include Drake strolling through a Yemen square with Sully and Elena, or crawling across the Rub' al Khali Desert on the brink of death. It's interesting because these levels, in a lot of ways, invoke as much impact as the holy crap I'm shooting rockets at another moving car moments. Of course, all this serves Uncharted 3's core experience, which is broken into 3 main components: climbing, shooting, and puzzle solving. The overall feel and effectiveness of each element remains perfectly intact from Uncharted 2. The shooting feels great, the climbing is fun, and the puzzle solving provides a welcome reprieve from the other 2. The game's new melee combat has a greater focus, and it seems Naughty Dog wanted you to be aware of the shift on a regular basis. The problem is that this combat is both largely unsatisfying, as it's half a step more enjoyable than QuickTime events, and because being forced into melee battle while in the middle of a gunfight tends to disrupt the flow of the otherwise really great gunplay. The The Uncharted series has a well-deserved reputation for pushing technical boundaries, so I hope you realize that this next statement is not hyperbolic. Uncharted 3 is the best-looking console game ever. Sentence over. Claims that Naughty Dog maxed out the power of the PS3 with Uncharted 2 were clearly unfounded because Uncharted 3 looks notably better than its predecessor. But graphical prowess aside, it's the stunning use of cinematography to frame the action that Hollywood could learn a thing or two from. Despite how each camera movement is meticulously scripted, it all feels dynamic. The framing of shots not only adds tension and drama, but also acts as a clever way to guide you through obstacles. And I couldn't talk about the look of Uncharted 3 without mentioning the animation. It seems like no matter what you're doing, Drake's moves always work in context. Even subtle actions like putting his hand up when walking near a wall, or slamming an enemy's face into a nearby monument, bring a level of realism to the character and world that's unprecedented. All around, the audio in Uncharted 3 is impressive. The emotional and exotic soundtrack really underscores the game's epic moments. And as always, the cast of voice actors deliver great performances across the board, with Nolan North taking the cake.
Oh, careful now. Wouldn't want you to melt.
It's surprising to me that every studio doesn't use Naughty Dog's everyone recording in the same room at the same time philosophy. If you're anything like me, you initially scoffed when Naughty Dog introduced multiplayer in Uncharted 2. What I assumed would be a largely unnecessary mode was surprising when I found that the verticality and cinematic nature of the Uncharted single-player translated organically into competitive multiplayer. The core of this multiplayer remains mostly intact in Uncharted 3, while much of the surrounding unlockables, which were arguably pretty sparse in Uncharted 2, are made much more robust. As you'd expect with any modern shooter, progression and customization is a big focus in Uncharted 3's competitive multiplayer. Along with a crap ton of cosmetic options to unlock for your multiplayer avatars, you can tweak loadouts. Both primary and secondary weapons can be modded with attachments, such as larger clip size or better zoom. Additionally, you can purchase boosters and kickbacks for your character as you level up and earn money. Boosters are Uncharted 3's version of perks. 2 can be activated at any one time to provide a special benefit, like climbing faster or better sprint recovery. Kickbacks, on the other hand, are similar to kill streaks. Kickbacks can be activated during matches once you earn the appropriate amount of medals through performing certain actions, like killing opponents and capturing objectives. The difference is that the in-match medals persist through death. So, for example, one of the kickbacks allows you to spawn a rocket launcher in your hands once you've earned 10 medals in that match. Of course, all of this depth is a moot point if the moment-to-moment action isn't solid. Uncharted 3's competitive multiplayer modes are broken into variations on team deathmatch and objective-based game types. Some impressive map design really helps highlight how much fun, and in some cases, more strategic the mobility of Uncharted can make the multiplayer. You guys remember the train level from the campaign of Uncharted 2? Yeah, they made that into a friggin' multiplayer map with 2 trains and 1 team spawning on each of them. It's awesome. The game's cooperative modes include some more story-driven content and the familiar wave-based survival game type. Adventure mode consists of basically repurposed sections of the single-player campaigns from Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 that you can play through with friends. This is in addition to the arena game type, where you and your co-op partners can survive onslaughts of enemies while completing ever-changing objectives. Uncharted 3 proves anything, it's that Naughty Dog may be the most versatile studio in video games. Their ability to craft tightly paced cinematic action, lighthearted narratives, endearing characters, and then paint it all with technical wizardry is unparalleled. Every single aspect of Uncharted 3, including its surprisingly robust multiplayer, is staggeringly well executed. If you love video games, Uncharted 3 is a game that needs to be part of your vocabulary. And if you don't really play video games, there's still a lot here for you to appreciate anyway.